Good afternoon. Today I'm here to help you start work on your family tree. This is a rewarding and addictive hobby, and I'm happy you are joining me today. This is a very quick overview of a very large topic, so I've created a guide for you to help you on your journey. This guide has a variety of books and websites that can give you more in-depth help than I can in our short time together today. These books and websites are just a small sample of what is out there. I have also included a few quick tips, and I encourage you to refer back to them as often as needed. I know I need the reminders as well on occasion. Also, I have included help for citing your information as you go because this is a very important step. Many genealogists use the Chicago Manual of Style, and I have included a link for you. Learn it early and use it often. Most older research does not include citations, and you will quickly see why citations are necessary and helpful, so include them yourself. I personally use Ancestry.com, and I'm going to show you how to do a census search using that site today. This is what a main page looks like when you log in. As you can see, you can do a variety of searches. You can also create a family tree here and store information as you find it. One important thing to do is to start with what you know. Talk to your relatives and find family papers and photographs for hints. However, remember that family myths and memories may be incorrect. Myths are myths for a reason. They have been passed down for generations and things get changed over time, as do memories. If you have a myth that you are related to someone famous, do not start with them and work down to you. It will be almost impossible. Start with yourself or your grandparents and work your way back. As you add people to your tree, Ancestry.com will give you hints about these people. However, it is not always the correct information, so you need to check each one before adding it to your tree. Not everything on every site is going to be 100% correct 100% of the time. Do not assume that because the name is the same or an ancestor is the same on someone else's tree, that the information is correct or that it is who you are looking for. On that note, though, don't get stuck on a certain spelling of a name. Names, even within a family, can have different spellings. Sometimes a census taker's handwriting is not the best, and when it is transcribed, there is a mistake in spelling, so it shows up wrong in searches. You'll see an example of this in a minute. Try different spellings. Try random letters. You may just find what you're looking for. When you do find what you're looking for, cite it. This will help you go back later if there is a question, and it will help others verify the information for themselves. Now let's do a quick search in the census records. The federal census is taken every 10 years, and the information on each census changes each time. The newest census available to search is 1940, and we are going to do a search today for my great-grandfather Harris Beert, because he shows a variety of some of the things I've been talking about. So we will add him in here. Harris Beert. And I know he's born in 1899, which will help narrow the search a little bit. And you can use other search options if you know. He happens to have a fairly uncommon name, so I'm not too worried. And we find that we have 3 exact hits and 1 Harry Beert. Let's take a look at the first 3, partially because they go in order. So 1910, we see an 11-year-old Harris living with his family. Ancestry.com does this nice thing where they have transcribed it, so you can see what categories are available at a glance here. But I very strongly suggest we look at the original as well, and that you always look at the original of everything. So when we zoom in here, again, we see Harris is the son of the head of household and is living with his father, sister, and brother. We see he's a white male, 11 years old, and he is single. We see that he was born in Washington. His father was born in Wisconsin, and his mother was born in Illinois. This is important. Remember this. Then we go through and we see that He speaks English. He has no occupation, but he can read, he can write, and he is attending school. Obviously, we can also see that not all the categories are relevant all the time. So let's go back and look at the 1920 census. In the 1920 census, we can see already there's a few more categories. Let's take a look at the original. And we can see there's a few more people in his household this time. He's a roomer of the household. And we actually see his wife listed under here. Again, we see he's a white male. He's 21 this time and married. We've got a citizenship. And we've got an education. He is not attending school, but he can read and write, which we knew. We see he was born in Washington, which that's what we saw before. His father born in Wisconsin. Again, that's the same. But mother was born in Pennsylvania. This is different. And this is another reason why we check our information. People were not always aware of or knew when people were born or where they were born. And sometimes they lied. So information changes. Information isn't always correct on here. But moving on, we see he is able to speak English. He's an executive clerk for a loan broker, and he is a wage or salary worker. So let's move on to 1930. And in 1930, again, we've got different information. Let's take a look. And in this case, he's still living with a lot of other people, but this time he's a prisoner. So we see him listed as a prisoner. We see him 32, and we see him as divorced. Again, keep an eye on this one. This time we've also got a category for when they got married, and he was married at 21. They've combined the read and write into one category now. And we see he was born in Washington, father Wisconsin, and he's stuck with Pennsylvania for his mother. And then we've got a citizenship section. It's expanded this time. And he is a broker at a brokerage firm when not in jail. And we also have a new category of veteran. He is not a veteran, but you can see that others are. And it tells which war, in this case the World War. So now let's take a look at 1940. This one is listed as Harry Beert. This is one of those where the information, again, may not be correct because of transcription. So if we open this up, this says Harry or Harris. It's hard to tell. But this is why you look at the original. We see he is the head of his household. He's 43 and now single, so somehow he's dropped the divorce. This could be a case of lying to the census taker. We see that he is not attending school or college, but we've added a highest grade completed. He happens to have completed high school through the 4th year. And his birthplace is Washington, but we've dropped the birthplace of mother and father. Citizenship is now down to 1 column, and we've added residence in 1935. And he was not on a farm in 1935. We also have a section for employment. He is not employed for pay. He does not work for the public emergency work, and he is seeking work. We also see that he has been unemployed for 52 weeks. And he's still listed as a bookkeeper, this time for a loan company. And he is he's doing private work as a wage or salary worker. And we've got more employment categories. And we've got an income column now. His was 300. So there's different information that can be seen on each census, things change, transcription changes, and it's always good to look at what this says right here, but also to take a look at the original. Also, take a look at my guide. It'll help you continue further past the censuses, and it will hopefully encourage you to keep going and have a lot of fun with it. I thank you for joining me today. Please let me know if you have any questions.